since October 23, what has concretely changed in the detention condition of Palestinians? Depuis octobre 2023, qu'est-ce qui a changé concrètement dans la détention, les conditions de détention des Palestiniens?
First, you must understand the situation was not good before the 7th of October. But, even before the 7th of October, Minister Ben came into office, they started to worsening the conditions of the prisoners. They stopped family visits. And after the 7th of October, they stopped even Red Cross visits. So gradually they became disconnected completely from the outside world. They don't have any visitations of any kind except for the specific lawyer of a specific prisoner, only if his family has enough money to pay for this lawyer that will come to visit him once a month or 2 months. They have nothing. They don't know what is going on the outside world. And they don't have family visits. They didn't speak to their families. Not on the phone, not anywhere. They don't know what is going on with their families. They didn't see them. They didn't hear from their children or from their mother. They don't know what is going on, except for when a lawyer visits and he gives them the information about their families. This one married, this one died. They don't know anything. So that's, I think, one of the big issues. The other thing that started after the 7th of October was the starving of the prisoners. Ben decided to starve the prisoners. Basically, prisoners don't get enough food. That's for sure. Even the Supreme Court was aware of this. However, some changes have been made, but still they are not getting sufficient amounts of food. Not only that they don't get sufficient amounts of food, and the food they get is in poor quality, they are being given the food on the floor with no plates, no cutlery. The food is on the floor and open boxes of things, these small amounts of food. So they're all very thin. All of the prisoners are very, very thin. Other than that, they are beaten constantly. On the 7th of October, what happened is the guards came in. They took everything. They took all of their personal belongings, if they had photos or something, or books. Everything was taken away, even their hygiene products, soap, everything was taken away. Mattresses, in some cases the mattresses were given back, some cases they were not. So they were not even on mattresses. There were 12 prisoners in a 6-person cell. It's very crowded conditions. In many days, they don't even get outings to the yard against the Geneva Convention. They don't get many things. Other than that, they are beaten and tortured regularly. Grenades, stun grenades can be thrown at them into the small crowded cell. They get injured many times because of the beatings. They usually don't get proper medical care. Sometimes they do get some medical care, but certainly not proper medical care. Depends on a prison, depends on many things. So there's no one to do anything, even though that on paper, if you are if you are objective and not brainwashed, the law is very simple. Of course, you cannot torture anyone. You cannot torture prisoners, no matter what you think they did or did not do. It's not allowed under Israeli law to torture prisoners, and there is no justification for it either. The only torture that is somehow allowed in Israeli law is by the Shin Bet, not by prison guards. It's by the only torture that is somewhat legal is the torture by the Shin Bet that is torturing under investigation, supposedly in order to prevent a terrorist act, Something dangerous is about to happen, a ticking time bomb, it's called. If you have a ticking time bomb, you are allowed to use investigation methods that are torture. But prison guards, are the prison guards commencing any investigation that they beat the prisoners? Of course not.
Wow. I will translate. Donc ma question était ce qui avait changé dans les conditions de détention des Palestiniens depuis le 7 octobre. Donc il explique que dès les premiers instants, tout a été retiré des cellules, matelas, affaires hygiéniques, photos, et effectivement les conditions ont été dès la première minute en fait. Elles étaient déjà terribles, hein, de ce qui est expliqué. C'était déjà terrible, mais là, effectivement, bon, on a pu le voir, hein, nous aussi, à travers les différents témoignages, à travers les différents prisonniers qui sont, comment dire, un peu plus connus que d'autres et de leurs conditions. Donc effectivement, la nourriture, évidemment, il y en a pas. La torture, c'est tous les jours. Et je posais la question aussi de savoir, parce que bon, comme on a beaucoup de propagande nous en France, de savoir est-ce que justement la torture par le V était devenue légale. Et en fait, ce qu'il explique, c'est très intéressant, hein, et on peut le voir ailleurs, c'est que il y a la loi qui donc interdit, qui dit non, vous ne pouvez pas ceci, vous ne pouvez pas cela, où il y a effectivement des processus d'investigation et autres, mais il y a la lecture en fait du tribunal. Si le tribunal dit pour nous il n'y a pas de problème, eh bien il n'y a pas de problème, circuler il n'y a rien à voir. Et si comme on l'a pu le voir avec les V, ça pose des pétitions ou autres, certaines mobilisations, eh bien, ça passera par le Shin Bet et les lois et la justice du Shin Bet. Et donc, les lois internationales sont piétinées. Euh, et en fait, vous avez, c'est toujours ça, c'est-à-dire vous avez des lois dites démocratiques et autres, mais vous avez ce contre-pouvoir. Voilà, c'est ce que je cherchais comme mot. Il y a toujours un contre-pouvoir finalement. Voilà. C'est absolument c'est absolument déroutant en fait, déroutant parce que on se demande comment arrêter, comment pouvoir arrêter en fait tout ça et on voit bien que ça va être compliqué, long et compliqué. How many Israeli lawyers today are willing to represent Palestinians in this kind of cases?
Well, it depends how you define Israeli, because there are many Palestinians with Israeli citizenship. So, there are, of course, many of them represent the Palestinian prisoners, and there are a few Jewish ones. Very few.
Je me demandais si étaient nombreux les avocats, s'il y avait de nombreuses, le nombre quoi, de la proportion d'avocats israéliens qui défendent des Palestiniens. Existe-t-il une stigmatisation particulière des avocats israéliens qui défendent les Palestiniens? Is there a particular stigma attached to Israeli lawyers who represent Palestinians? If you're target because you are a lawyer representing,
Of course,
defending
of course.
Palestinians.
Of
Okay.
course, I have, it's not stigma. I have 4 complaints against me at the Bar Association. I'm targeted by right-wing organizations, also by the IPS. I also have a ruling against me, 2 rulings against me by the district judges who are now appealing one of them to the Supreme Court after I was fined 5,000 shekels for saying that prisoners are being tortured and they don't have access to the courts because they don't want to come to court because they are beaten on the way, so they don't have access to courts basically. Because I said that, the judge said I am defaming the warriors. I'm defaming the warriors of the prison guards, the IPS, the Israeli Prison Service, and I'm even talking against the court. And he fined me 5,000 shekels. Now, in order to appeal this, I need to pay like 30,000 shekels just for deposit. First, I paid the 5,000 shekels already, but also now I need to pay 30,000 shekels just as a deposit, just for they will discuss, the Supreme Court will discuss my appeal, will even hear my appeal or read my papers. Um, so there's many forms of ways that they operate against me. You know, trying to revoke my license, I think, is the most troubling at the moment.
En effet, ils sont, vous en doutez bien, menacés. De ce qui voilà vient d'être prononcé, c'est d'aller jusqu'à essayer de lui retirer sa licence, de l'amener au tribunal, de le condamner à des amendes, payer une première amende, puis pour pouvoir en fait être entendu, faire appel et être entendu, vous devez encore payer et c'est des sommes assez astronomiques. Est-ce que tu veux que tu veux intervenir, le F? On fait une petite pause avec moi et
Oui, bien sûr, on peut faire une petite pause. Après, en plus, le pire, c'est que cette question-là, je voulais lui poser justement
Ouais. Tu peux
et
intervenir quand tu veux, hein. Tu sais,
ouais, ouais, ouais.
c'est discussion.
Non, non, j'écoutais parce qu'en plus, cette question-là, je l'avais notée et c'est vrai que bah, on se pose souvent la question de voilà, est-ce que j'ai envie de te dire, bah, surtout en plus, il défend les Palestiniens. En étant du coup lui-même israélien, donc j'imagine déjà que ça porte une première forme de défiance de la part des autorités israéliennes et des représentants judiciaires de cette entité. Euh, et ça pose un problème, je dirais, dans le sens où bah, ça démontre bien qu'il y a une forme de justice à deux vitesses, si je peux le formuler comme ça, ou un deux poids deux mesures.
Il parle,
Cette expression aussi se...
il parle d'apartheid, hein.
Ah oui, oui.
Lui parle directement d'apartheid en fait, hein. Il est clair hein, dans ses propos.
Et on est complètement dans ça, hein. On est sous un apartheid global qui se traduit même bah, sur le terrain judiciaire et de la justice. Hein. Parce que quand j'entends que déjà l'état des prisons était déjà déplorable pour les Palestiniens, mais en plus maintenant ils se retrouvent de manière totale privés de droits, même du strict minimum. Que même le lien avec d'ailleurs leurs avocats et d'ailleurs Maître l'a bien dit, euh, est fait de manière à ce que voilà les parties n'aient pas accès au dossier de manière totale ou que voilà les visites familiales ne puissent pas avoir lieu dans des conditions correctes ou ne puissent pas avoir lieu tout court. Ça pose vraiment voilà l'indignation, je pense qu'elle est de mise. Et le fait que on puisse ouvrir les yeux là-dessus et démontrer au monde ce qui se passe vraiment également derrière les coulisses des prisons et des bancs de la justice, c'est important. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, on nous vend par contre une propagande qui laisserait prétendre pardon, que la justice fait son travail de manière digne, de manière noble, et que c'est également le cas derrière les prisons. Évidemment, tout ça, c'est un mensonge.
Est-ce que tu veux poser des questions ou est-ce que je continue sur ma série de questions? Dis-moi.
D'ailleurs, moi, j'avais une question, mais après, je sais pas si ça rejoint la dernière question qui était posée, parce que c'était un bout de ma question, mais c'était de lui poser la question, si justement, elle a déjà empêché de défendre quelqu'un, au vu du contexte dans lequel se situe le territoire actuellement. Uh, Sir, Mr. Marmarelli, I have a question for you. Um, have you ever been prevented from defending someone because of the current situation in this area in Israel?
Have I been prevented from what?
From defending someone?
From defending someone. What do you mean prevented? Like the authority told me not to represent?
Yes. Like
No.
someone told you, I want you, Mr. Marmarelli, to defend me, and
No. It didn't happen, but it can happen. There's a procedure for that. That they deny certain. They can say this lawyer can see this prisoner, but it didn't happen to me.
ok, thank you. Ouais, il a dit mot pour mot que ça peut arriver, voilà, qu'il y a des avocats qui sont empêchés justement de défendre certaines personnes. On dit très clairement en fait aux prisonniers, hein, non, vous pouvez pas voir cet avocat-là. Et prenez-en un autre du coup. Mais encore une fois, du coup, c'est-à-dire que si tu as une personne en qui tu as en confiance du point de vue du droit, par rapport à sa posture, par rapport également à sa connaissance et la manière dont il va te défendre, c'est-à-dire que toi, en tant que prisonnier palestinien, tu n'as pas le droit de choisir t'as pas le droit de choisir réellement qui va te défendre, qui tu auras pour avocat. On marche sur la tête, quoi.
What is the youngest Palestinian in the prison camp?
I don't have this information. We'll have to ask one of the human rights organizations.
Can we know the percentage of like
Teenagers?
young? Yeah.
I know there are a few hundreds, about 350 or so, out of 10,000.
People, around the world mobilize regarding the law to hang Palestinian for the death penalty. But is it possible to know approximatively the amount of Palestinians losing their life in prison?
In prison. There's two different things. You talked about the death penalty, and you talked about deaths in prison. This is different. About 115 prisoners have already died during the last 2.5 years within the confinements of the prisons. Obviously, most of them died as a result of the torture and the poor medical care. So that is not official death penalty, of course. A death penalty is a verdict given by the courts, not torture in the prisons. Now, the Palestinians that will face the possibility of a death penalty are about, I think, I heard the numbers about 200 or 250 or something like that.
And what about using dogs to grab Palestinians?
Well, in every prison, including military prisons and not military prisons, they have dogs. They have dogs there. You can hear them bark. When you go to the prison, you always hear the dogs bark. It's very scary. When you hear what they do with these dogs. Now, they don't just rape with these dogs. They do sorts of intimidations with the dogs. They always they say you can see videos of this. They show it. Ben Gvir is proud of it.
I heard.
Ben Gvir is proud of it. A video is worth.
These last days, it was on the national news N12. And someone was talking about his dog Django and what Django is doing to Palestinians.
Yes.
I mean,
But
but
also,
I
but
do,
also
I
they
do
showed
this in,
pictures. If you go in the Ben-Gvir's or the police or the IPS's website, they show you the video of them putting all the prisoners on the floor in the yard and having the dogs climb on them. It's not rape; they just climb on them. Who knows what? Why do they need to climb on them for what? They don't have anything there, you know.
this
They
is
can't.
coming, I
They
mean,
can't,
this is,
smuggle anything. They don't see anybody. They don't go out. They don't meet anybody. If they meet their lawyers, is through the glass wall. So the dogs are there just for intimidation and another form of torture and humiliation.
but
Now,
the thing is, this is nothing new. France used to do that with Algeria, and all
of course,
Africa. I
of
mean,
course.
it's not like something like creating in Israel. Why I'm talking about that is because Israel is, I mean, all people, the president, population, everybody is claiming that Israel is the most moral country, most moral army, most moral everything. And we hear and see people on the national news
Yes,
laughing, joking about the fact that they use dogs to rape Palestinians.
yes. Yes, but what is the question for me? Are they the most moral army? They're the most moral country in the world? Is that what you're asking me?
No, no, no. And if you ask me if Israel, like, we hear many times these last years, 3 last years, oh, Israel doesn't exist. Israel exists, but I'm thinking, does Israel deserve to exist? My
Mhm.
question is this, do
Yeah,
Israel deserve to exist?
deserve. Okay. So no state. By the way, the term is state, not country, because
Yeah, excuse me.
but
Yeah, you're right. Thank
country
you for correcting.
country is a geographic area. There are many geographic areas. Now, no
And
state.
country have a border. Country have a border.
No state in the world, including France, has a right to exist. There's no such thing as a right of a state to exist. And deserve, I don't think this is the right phrasing. Deserve. What a state needs to do to deserve to exist.